Hi, today's story is about school bus driver who found 8 boxes and some bags at a curbside, and what she found inside was really shocking, so let's read the story together. Keisha Ward almost kept driving. She was 45, a school bus driver in Cleveland, Ohio, and she'd been trained for one thing: don't make impulsive stops, don't invite problems, don't take risks around kids. But it was late spring, her wood was done, the bus was empty, and she was rolling through a wealthy pocket near the lake where curbside piles looked like showroom leftovers. Then she saw it: 8 boxes and 2 heavy trash bags, stacked perfectly beside a curbside bulk pickup pile like someone had built a display and walked away. Clean boxes, fresh tape, no rain damage, and on the top box, written in thick marker like a warning, 2 words: Garage Clear Out. Keisha slowed without meaning to because the stack didn't look like trash. It looked like somebody had dumped a life in labeled layers and expected nobody to look too closely. Keisha wasn't chasing internet curbside jackpots, she was chasing breathing room. Her house ran out on careful planning, groceries with a list, shoes bought late, repairs postponed until they screamed. She loved her job, loved the kids on her route, loved being the adult who showed up every day, but love didn't stretch a paycheck the way rising prices stretched everything else. Lately, she'd been doing the same late night math at her kitchen table: bills, gas, school fees, a medical copay she kept pushing off, and a quiet fear that one surprise would knock her off balance. So when she saw those boxes sitting there like an invitation, her first thought wasn't greed, it was, why would anybody throw away stuff this clean? She pulled over the bus legally, hazards on, and walked up like she belonged there. No sneaking, no climbing fences, no doors to knock on, just a curbside pile on pickup day with a little free sign zip tied to a broken chair, like the neighborhood's way of saying, take what you want. Keisha opened the top box just enough to peek and felt her stomach flip. Inside were baseball card boxes, the rigid kind collectors use, and on top sat a small plastic sleeve with a single card in it, old, glossy, and protected like it mattered. Under the card boxes was a velvet pouch that made a faint metal sound when she lifted it, and that tiny sound felt louder than the whole street. She didn't stand there tearing through everything. She did the smart thing. She scanned the streets, saw no one watching, and moved fast but careful. One box into the bus storage bay, then another, then the 2 trash bags heavier than they should have been, tied, like someone didn't want them to spill. She grabbed the last box and felt a clunk inside. It wasn't random junk. It was the weight of something solid like metal trophies or tools, and her mind jumped to one unsettling idea. This isn't household clutter, this is somebody's collection. Back at home, she carried the boxes into her garage and lined them up in a row like evidence. She told herself she'd open one box and stop it if she felt wrong. The first box wasn't clothes or dishes, it was sports history, stacks of baseball cards and sleeves, some labeled by year in neat handwriting, and a small tin that held old championship-style rings that looked too heavy to be costume. The second box was worse in the best way: trophies and plaques, no cheap plastic, but real engraved metal plates, names, dates, racing numbers, like they came from a local motorsport league. Then she opened one of the trash bags and found a small wooden jewelry box. It looked ordinary until she tapped the bottom and felt it shift. A hidden compartment slid open, and inside, wrapped in cloth, was a handful of mixed metals, small gold pieces, silver coins, and a few old bronze tokens, like somebody had been quietly saving value for years and then dumped it all at the curb in one move. Keisha sat back on her heels, staring at the line of boxes because now she had a different kind of problem. This wasn't free stuff. This was a fortune in pieces that didn't make sense to throw away. Keisha didn't feel lucky, she felt exposed. Sitting on the garage floor with those boxes lined up, she kept thinking about the word free zip tied to the chair like a magic spell that made everything okay, because this didn't look like junk from a spring cleanup. It looked like somebody's pride, somebody's memory, somebody's this matters drawer, baseball cards protected like currency, trophies with real names on them, and that hidden compartment with metal tucked inside like a quiet emergency plan. Keisha had spent her whole working life being trusted with other people's children, and the idea of benefiting from something that might be a mistake made her stomach turn. Even while the other part of her mind whispered the truth she hated, this could fix problems she'd been carrying for years. She forced herself to slow down and treat it like a real inventory, not a fantasy. She laid out old towels on the workbench and opened each box carefully, taking photos the way a careful person does when they know the world loves to misunderstand. The sports stuff wasn't random. The trophies and plaques matched the names on some of the handwritten labels in the card boxes. A few plaques reference local tracks and weekend series, the kind of racing that isn't famous but is everything to the people who live it. One shoebox held old pit passes, a folded team shirt, and a stack of laminated ID tags with the same last name. Keisha stared at that name for a long time because it made the pile feel human, not rich people trash, alive. Then she found the part that changed how she saw the whole thing. Inside one of the trash bags, under towels and packaging, was a small notebook, nothing dramatic, just a cheap spiral pad. The first page wasn't a diary, it was numbers, lists, notes like sell cards and storage and can't keep trophies. A few lines were crossed out hard, like whoever wrote them was angry. The last entry was short. Leave it, done. Keisha swallowed. She knew that tone. It sounded like burnout, like someone walking away from a fight, not someone casually donating. She didn't call anyone. She didn't post online. She did what made sense for a woman who understood risk. She tried to return the story without turning it into drama. The next day, still in daylight, she drove back to the street with a couple of plaques and thought, nothing valuable, just enough to ask questions. She knocked on 2 doors nearby and kept her voice simple. She'd seen a free pile yesterday and wanted to make sure it wasn't left by mistake because there were personal items mixed in. One neighbor said the house at the corner had been cleared out fast after a family split, that the garage got emptied and nobody wanted to deal with it. Another neighbor shrugged and said, if it's on the curb with a free sign, it's free. Like that was the whole moral universe. No one offered a name, no one offered a phone number, and Keisha could feel the neighborhood's quiet message, don't drag us into it. Back home, she made a decision that balanced her conscience with her reality. Anything that felt purely personal, photos, ID tags, notebooks, she boxed up and kept safe, not sold. Anything that was clearly collectible and replaceable, duplicates of cards, extra trophies, loose medals, she treated like an estate find and handled it clean. She went to a reputable card shop first, the kind with bright lights, an old man behind the counter who'd seen every scam and every miracle. The owner didn't laugh at her, he got quiet, flipped through a few sleeves, checked the condition, and gave her a number that made her grip the edge of the counter. Not millions, but real money, enough that she suddenly understood why people protected cards like cash. The gold and silver she didn't dump at first pawn shop either. She had it weighted at the proper coin dealer and took her time because she knew desperation gets discounted. Over a few weeks, she sold in small, documented steps, a card lot here, a trophy set there, the medals only after she understood what she had. The total wasn't fairy tale, but it was life-changing in the way her life needed. She cleared the overdue balance that had been stalking her, fixed the car issue she'd been ignoring, bought her kid new shoes without waiting for a sale, and most important, built a small emergency buffer so the next surprise wouldn't knock her flat. But the moment that hit her hardest wasn't the money. It was the date she finally opened the garage and saw empty floor again. The boxes gone, the chaos turned in order. Keisha realized she hadn't just found stuff. She found proof that her careful, steady way of living could still catch a break without becoming reckless. She taped a single racing plaque inside the garage cabinet, not to keep a trophy, but as a reminder. When life hands you something unreal, you don't have to turn it into a mess to let it help you. And the last box, personal items, and the little notebook she kept untouched, because some parts of someone else's life weren't hers to cash in, even if the curb said free. The twist came from the things she didn't sell. One afternoon, while sorting the motorsport plaques into a single tot, she noticed a pattern she'd missed before. Several trophies weren't for grown men. They were youth awards, junior classes, rookie of the year. A laminated pit pass had a small photo on it, and the kid's face was stretched out with the pen like someone couldn't stand to look at it anymore. Keisha stared at the stretch photo longer than she wanted to because it reminded her of kids on her bus who acted though when they weren't hurt. She didn't try to find the owner through a dramatic hunt. She took the personal tot IDs, notebook, pit passes, that stretch photo, and brought it to the local community center that ran youth racing and after-school programs. Not as a return, but as a safe drop. She told the coordinator exactly what she knew: curbside free pile, personal items mixed in, and she didn't feel right throwing them away. The coordinator didn't ask for names, she just nodded like she'd seen life break like that before. "We'll hold it," she said. "If someone comes looking, we'll know what it is." Keisha walked out lighter because she'd given the story a place to land without making herself the main character in someone else's pain. By early summer, the change showed up in the best place possible: her kid. New shoes weren't a big deal anymore. School fees got paid on time. When a field trip from came home, Keisha didn't have to stall. She signed it and moved on. That's what life-changing looked like for her. Not luxury, not a new house, not a dramatic upgrade, just normal being normal again. She kept one small thing from the whole haul, a cheap little motorsport medal, not worth much, but it had the word "Finish" stamped across the front. She hung it on a hook inside the garage cabinet where nobody would see it unless they were looking for something else. For Keisha, it wasn't a trophy, it was a reminder that sometimes you can't control what gets dumped into your path, but you can control how you handle it. She didn't get rich, she got steady, and the next time she drove that Velsey street in spring sunlight, she didn't slow down hoping for more. She just did her route, looked in her mirrors, and felt something she hadn't felt in years, like her life belonged to her again. So this is the story. I hope you liked it, and if you do, please leave me a comment. Also share maybe your story, your thoughts, your impression about the video, and if you like it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe.